Hello, my name is Sydney Grooms,
And I'm Michaela Cole.
and our program is called the Social Obstacles of Substance Use Disorders, a roundtable discussion. This discussion arose because we wanted to make a program highlighting the importance of social identity on a college campus in relations to alcohol and other substances. This is why our health topic being addressed is alcohol and other substances. Specifically, this plan was made in an effort to make UAB a recovery ready campus. Our organization partner that we will be using for this lesson is the UAB Collegiate Recovery Community. This program actively helps UAB students in their recovery process and would be able to give an expert view on topics that will be discussed. The audience for this lesson plan will be faculty, staff, and student body attending the UAB University as well as other universities, as this program is a multifaceted program that can be used in multiple different settings. Due to excuse me, due to COVID, the location of this program will be a Zoom call. However, when COVID ends, we would like to have this program to be at an actual roundtable in either um, the UAB ballrooms, or outside in the Hill Center Amphitheater. The preparation for planning and of this program is about 2 hours, and the actual interactive portion of the program takes about an hour or an hour and a half to complete.
So, the theoretical foundation that we chose for this program was the health belief model. And to give a little bit of background about that, the health belief model takes in consideration an individual's demographic variables like their class and gender and age, and then also their psychological characteristics like personality and peer group. And that determines their perceived susceptibility to change, their perceived severity, their health motivation to do so, the benefits they would have if to do that change, and the barriers to that change. And all of that, when you consider all of those things, that lead to determine their likely to action and how much they would be to action. Because as we'll delve further into the entire purpose of this program is to have our participants change their belief and attitude towards the experiences and the social identities of those who may be experiencing a substance use disorder. We felt like the health belief model was the best one to represent this. So to move further into it, the purpose of this program again is for participants to become more aware of the situation and circumstances of those who are more likely to experience or are already experiencing substance use disorder. And essentially, we just want our participants to become more open minded and really have a better understanding. And rather than thinking of this generic idea of substance use disorders, they can see how this is actually represented in their community on the UAB campus, and also maybe really understand how individuals who are experiencing this, what their how their identities affect them and how their likelihood and chances of having rehabilitation and doing that successfully. Um, Specifically, the objectives that we will set for ourselves to achieve this larger goal and purpose is that when we want to have our participants be able to define social identities, and along with that, being able to identify their own social identities. We also want them to be able to define what it means to be a recovery ready campus, and along with that, reflect on their role in making UAB a recovery ready campus and how they can go about doing that in our community. And then lastly, we just want them to mainly become more understanding of how social identities can shape others' experiences and boundaries in relation, especially to alcohol and other substances.
The budget for this program does not require any additional funds, as we are using all virtual materials. Our presentation materials are as follows: computer access, an updated Zoom application, the pre-prepared PowerPoint that can be found in our appendix, explained later on, the surveys we have created, Slido, which is also a website that is free to use, and then the preparation of questions for participants to respond to in Slido, which again will be explained later on. The process of the program is as follows. We'll start by the participants registering for the Zoom call. In registering, they will be required to answer 5 questions in a survey form. This should take about 3 minutes. When we actually start the program, we'll introduce ourselves to the participants, as well as the representatives of the UAB Collegiate Recovery Community will introduce themselves. And we'll make sure to say thank you to everyone who participates, because we truly appreciate people reaching out and wanting to make UAB a recovery ready campus. So we'll start off by sending out a Slido Zoom link. So Slido, the website is a virtual poll that can be used in settings like this. A question will be presented to the group, and the group can respond on the website. Those responses will then show up on the screen in a word cloud. All responses are anonymous, so it encourages people to give a really authentic response. Our first questions will be how old are you, where are you from, what's your relationship status, etc., etc. These are examples of social identities, unbeknownst to the participants who are unaware. Once these questions are done being asked, the POWs will then go in and explain what social identities are, and that they themselves have answered with some social identities with the Slido questions. Um, we will then go into doing another Slido question series. In this one, we'll ask the participants different questions such as, the social identity affect a person's susceptibility to substance use disorder? Do you know people struggling with substance use disorder? Do you know people recovering from substance use disorder, etc.? These questions highlight the way that social identity and UAB substance use culture coincides. Once these questions are answered, the UAB collegiate recovery community representatives will give a presentation regarding how social identity can affect substance use disorder, and explain the typical substance use disorder career module. This should take about 10 minutes. Following this presentation, another Slido series will be presented. This one a little more personal. We'll ask questions such as, what age did you start drinking slash using substance? What age did you stop drinking or using substances? If not, NA, etc. These questions will be used to encourage elaborate um, explanation and discussion. And this way will enable people participating to explain how their social identity personally affected their relationship with alcohol and other substances. The P excuse me At the end of this program, we will then thank the participants for participating, and we'll explain to them how this conversation is a great first step in many steps to making UAB a recovery ready campus for others. Finally, concluding this program, we will send out a survey, another 5 question survey to the participants that take away from the core objectives of the program and compare those to the ones we sent in the beginning. Um, and as I said before, these 2 surveys that sent prior and after will be used as a way of evaluating the effectiveness of our program.
In our appendix, we just have some other materials that will be used to assist any other PALs that have tried to uh, recreate this program. So we have the PowerPoint link, which is just a few slides that we'll be presenting to our participants throughout. It has the QR codes for both of the surveys, and then also a little description of what social identities are, and then the link for them to have the Slido. We also have in Appendix B the same questions that will be used in the survey, and then also a link to the form itself. Appendix C has a link to Slido and a bit of a description of how to use that application and the best way to set up the questions and launch the live polls. And then finally, in Appendix D, we have the list of questions that we'll ask the participants while they use Slido, and so that we can get their responses and create a discussion. Overall, we feel like this program will be really great at creating a discussion and allowing our participants to have the opportunity to really understand what the collegiate recovery community is doing, and also like how UAB is becoming more of a recovery ready community and being a part of that themselves. And thank you for watching this presentation.